So hi, my name is Stefan. I'm co-founder and CEO of the Berlin-based company called Peregrine AI in Germany. Our mission is to make cars smarter and roads safer through Edge AI, and with Edge AI we unlock new value from vehicle data. So as you might know, like the volume of data that cars produce nowadays, it's actually exploding. Data generation is a relatively easy thing that we're currently seeing. The harder bit is smart data collection. So how do we pick the relevant data that these cars would produce? And if we have a smart way of doing it, then we can, of course, address many verticals like insurance, but also map making and domains like self-driving cars. The processing, if you do it in the cloud, you need to move everything over there, and then, of course, you need to store it and post-process it. It creates a lot of costs, but also then the energy that is needed to do so is relatively high. There's, on the other hand, a huge demand for fresh data that you would use and consume every day, being it in geodata services, but also insurance, as I mentioned. Peregrine is actually creating superior data access through making, with our software, the camera smarter. So we create context awareness in cameras in cars. We identify already while driving the relevant bits on the road. So think of a highway drive where there's nothing new happening, whereas there's a urban center where you have a lot of interaction and an ODD that is more stressful. On the other side, we give you access through an API to all this contextual data that you can consume. So if you think about a fleet of Uber drivers or a waste collection company, this is something you could have at your fingertips through our API. And on the other side, think of Peregrine as someone who integrates their software into cameras that sit in highly utilized vehicles, so being a trash collection, cabs, Amazon delivery vehicles. And so, and we are a sensor network, essentially, that you can then tap into and have fresh contextual data. We as a team have been developing software for self-driving cars in the past, for automotive companies, for map makers, for startups, and have had the idea to turn this into something. Maybe you can just step through it in this screen so we can still see the slide. It's much nicer. Here we are. So let's catch up. So the way we acquire this data is in a uniquely capable way to source and sell the data. We acquire traffic scenarios. We have a vectorization of the environment. We basically understand spatial and temporal data. On the other side, we combine this. We have a data flywheel to source from this network of vehicles that are highly utilized. So all of the cars that we usually equip have 100 miles or 150 miles of driving a day. We can turn this data into something that is available within 24 hours. And we reduce the data reduction through our Edge AI by 99%. So just less than 1% is actually meaningful. We act in 3 domains. That is geodata, fleet insights, and map insights. So our main data revenue we generate is for map makers. The traction we have, especially in Europe and Germany, is in the telematics domain. So we supply telematics service providers. These are usually companies that have fuel cards or black boxes in cars, but nowadays they also have dash cams, and the dash cam over years now got more and more compute. So instead of having our software in a car, like for self-driving cars as in the past, we integrated this now into retrofittable devices that can very easily be installed in cars within a couple of minutes. So today we have traction with 3 telematics service providers, giving us access to an install base of 2.5 million vehicles in Europe. We have 100,000 contracted for this year, and that gives us an annual recurrent revenue of 1.5 million with a strong growth potential because we can grow into their existing fleet base. Our technology is Edge AI. With that, we mean especially a hardware agnostic piece of software that has a multi-head network at its center. So there's one backbone that does and prepare the task for multiple things like depth estimation, seam description, the lane geometries, but then also in the end, it's a lot about localization and map making, a lightweight SLAM algorithm that is running on there. And then you have a network of these cars driving, combining a picture of a real-world situation from all of these cars. And so we can then feed this into geodata services at the very end to monetize the data. I already said a little bit about our team. We are 20 people in Germany, in Berlin, with a background in automotive, with companies like TomTom, Volkswagen, Mobileye, and Bosch. And we surrounded ourselves with also some people that started their startup in Europe in self-driving domain and sold it to TomTom at the time. And so we're kind of now the second generation in that team. To sum it up, thanks for the opportunity and having us as a German-based team. It was really great to get in here. We are raising 10 million this year, and it's our first growth round. And it will be about expanding and getting more cars on the round, mainly in Europe. But we have a first client already in the US, and we will have our technology on US roads by mid of this year. Thanks very much.